Welcome to the cruise review of Frozen Bytes Trine 2. Trine 2 is an action puzzle side-scroller published by and developed by Frozen Byte and was released in the late 2011. Trine 2 is a story of three heroes who, at the call of a mystical being called the Trine, are sent on an adventure to save the kingdom. But does Trine 2 hold up to the original? Belbos and Lizzie thought Trine was a very well put together and fun to play game. Will we think the same for its sequel? It's time to find out.
So the first thing we're going to do is focus on the storyline of Trine 2.
It was easy enough to follow. I didn't mind. Like the storyline was stable for me because I've never actually played the original Trine, so it was kind of a fresh, just like a new start for me on this type of game.
Okay.
But yeah, it was easy enough to follow, and
Yeah, the storyline is actually outlined more in the tutorial, and it gives like a good description of the characters' stories and how each character works and their unique abilities. So when you're playing multiplayer, everybody gets to play the characters. So I think you start off with the wizard first. I think that was right, and then you move on to like the lady, and then you move on to I don't know what is the lady? Is she like human or?
I think she's
Just
like
a human, yeah.
elf.
Just a
Yeah.
Is she
woman.
human?
And then
What
it
are you
moves on
talking
to
about?
the
It's just a
soldier.
woman. Um, yeah, the storyline's is not amazing, but for Trine, that's primarily about the puzzles and all that sort of thing. So the story's not really that important, but it's good anyway. Just not amazing.
Yeah, I didn't think there was that much of a story to it really, which is okay for me because I don't really, I prefer just playing games than listening to stories. And I also want to point out that the storyline is voiced by some good actors, so it's quite nice to listen to as well.
Mm-hmm.
And then if we move on to graphical design, I absolutely loved the graphics for it. It was very much like Trine 1. There were just so many colors and all the lights and the lighting of it. It was just very pretty and it was very sparkly as well. There's lots of sparkles happening in the game.
Yeah, I thought the graphics were pretty good considering the price of the game because it is just an indie game, so it is reasonably cheap. But it does like look really good, and it's really like vibrant and immersive. And unlike a lot of indie games where you just play it once, you can feel like you can really get into the game just because of the way it looks. So yeah, that is a good point.
Yeah, I agree that the graphics are obviously very good, and the colors and the lighting is all done really well. And yeah, I think that's all I think about the graphics.
Moving on to sound. Um, I thought the sound did become. I mean, it's nice sound, but I thought it became a bit repetitive, which I thought was pretty much most of the game. Actually, most of the game was repetitive, but
I think the sound was fine. I think it blended well with the actual atmosphere of the game, like the way it looked. So I think they both complemented themselves like really well. But as far as individually, it was kind of just generic sounds that you'd expect to hear. I don't think it was anything that amazing.
Um, I think yeah, the sounds pretty much like Extra said as what you'd expect in the game. It's not amazing or anything, but the voice acting is good, like Piper said earlier, and yeah, the music's really good. I really like the music in it though, and I thought it suits the game really well.
yeah, yeah. Then moving on to the next section, the controls. I found it quite straightforward. The controls, um, and the tutorials help you a lot because you get to learn everything that each character does. So you get to learn how to draw a box for the wizard and how to, throw the rope up for the human lady.
Yeah, I think the controls were pretty much simple enough. I think in the entire game that I know of, like you had to use like 5 keys. I think that was pretty much it.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was just really easy to play, and you didn't have to do any like hotkey type stuff or anything like that. It was just really easy to use.
Yeah, well, I know we played it on the PC, but I was using the Xbox controller for it,
Ah,
so I don't really know what the keyboard controls were like. But on the controller anyway, it's really easy to use. It's not complicated at all.
okay. I'd like to play it on the Xbox. I can't imagine having to draw a box, like how you do that, but yeah.
Mhm. Well, yeah, it's easy. You just move the stick to make a box.
Okay, yeah. This is coming from somebody who's never played on an Xbox. Okay, moving on. Replayability. I don't think it's got much potential for replayability. I mean, we played a good couple of hours, didn't we? I think it was about 3 or 4 hours we played of Trine 2, and it just got quite repetitive, and there's only so many times you can do like the same puzzle, grow the plant with the water and do the box, but it is something I would go back to and play and finish.
I wouldn't play it again after finishing the campaign once. I wouldn't go back to it unless I did it on single player and then wanted to play with friends. But we played it for like 3 hours in the middle of the night, so by the end of it, we were tired and just wanted to get off it, really. But I think if you play it in shorter sessions, it's fine for like one
Yeah.
playthrough. But I wouldn't go back to it after my one playthrough of the whole game.
I found it pretty much fun at first. I found it pretty much fun at first. After a couple of hours, yeah, it did start getting a bit repetitive. So I didn't actually complete it, but I would consider I probably will play it again, and I'll have to complete it because it was fun to play. But as far as playing it like more than the one time, I can't say it.
And what do you guys think about the setting?
Where it sort of like goes with the graphics sort of thing, it is a cool setting. I think a lot of it was in the forest from what
Yeah.
we played. I would have liked to see more different type of areas, but that's what they did, and yeah, but I think it was good anyway. Yeah.
I think it pretty much set the whole scene, how it was set was, for me, basically what made the game, like the graphics and the artwork and the way it was portrayed, like in the forest and all these mystical things happen and the plants and the flowers everywhere. And I think that it was so beautiful, the game. I think that just made it for me.
As far as setting goes, like I said, I thought the graphics were really nice and really immersive, but as far as the setting itself, it's pretty average. It's just like a magical rainforest, really. It's like I don't know. It's just like generic. It's like name like half of every indie game out there. There is a magical forest at some point. So
But it
I
was
don't know.
really pretty.
Yeah, it was pretty, but that's the graphics. I don't know.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, the setting, probably you've seen it lots of times. Is there anything extra we would like to add? I know I want to go yay over something.
Okay. I think because I'd consider this more to be a puzzle game. I'm more into like the basic type puzzle games. I'm not really sure what you'd call them, but stuff like Luxor, Zuma, Bejeweled, just columns, 2D type games like that. So I don't know. I just find ones like that to be a lot more casual, so I can play them more often. So yeah, it just wasn't my type of game personally.
I mean, I was so happy to see a female character, and she was quite an awesome character as well. Although I didn't play her, and I'll let you guys guess who actually did play her in the end. But I think that's only because it was lots of the bow. I'm not very good at bows, but I think she was actually the best character. And I like how the characters all differ as well. 3 very different characters.
Mhm.
Okay then, scores out of 10. Who would like to go first?
I'll go first then. I gave it, well, I'd give it 7 out of 10 because it's a pretty good game. Like all the puzzles and like each character having like the different jobs to be able to get through a level is good and fun. But it's not really a sort of thing I'd play a lot. I like this sort of game. Like I love puzzle games, but I don't know. 7's a good score anyway. I just didn't think it was amazing, and I didn't think it was bad, so that's why I gave it 7.
I'm going to give Trying to a 6. I think it was a pretty good game. Like, I think an 8 from me is like pretty amazing, so 6 isn't a bad score at all, but I just think that I'd see it as a puzzle game, and for me, if it's going to be a puzzle game, I'd rather it was just puzzles, if you know what I mean, just repetitive,
Yeah.
just keep going through like levels of puzzles and stuff like that, which it wasn't. So, yeah, I'd say 6 is a pretty much a good enough score that I can give it.
I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10 because it was so beautiful, and that's pretty much it. No, it was really pretty. I did enjoy the puzzles. There were times where I was like, what do we do next? But luckily I was playing with two people who are very good at puzzle games. And it was a bit different, and I like that probably because of how you guys say it is a puzzle game, but I do like the side scrolling, jumping up, trying to work things out, which I don't play that often because I'm quite a casual gamer. So yeah, so 8 out of 10 from me.
Just before we leave, we'd like to give out a special thank you to Gamersgate for providing us the games and support to give you this review, and highly recommend you check out their website for great deals on the leading titles. Trine 2 is available on Steam and direct off their website.